Hi, Jewish Mom. I hope you had an amazing Purim. So I wanted to share with you two highlights from my Purim here in Jerusalem. So last year I told you about a very interesting event that I kind of ended up at by mistake because I missed my Megillah reading by a few minutes. So I ended up at this other Megillah reading, which led into a very interesting tradition in Kiryat Moshe. There's something called the Beit Din Legzerot Tovot, the Beit Din, rabbinic court for good news. So I kind of ended up there last year by mistake, and this year I went again. I went with my daughter Hadass, who just turned 20, and with my aunt Leora. So basically what happens is I think like I hadn't really understood what it is. Basically, what it is this is a gathering. It's a Beit Din of three rabbis: Rav Shmuel Eliyahu, Rabbi Sherki, who's a well-known French-Israeli rabbi, and another rabbi whose name I don't know, who's a Mekubal, like a Kabbalistic oriented rabbi. And so basically they form a Beit Din and it's really the main people there, the main population there is older single girls and women who really would like to get married. So this is basically, it's a Beit Din for Gzerot Tovot, for good decrees. I'm sorry, I know I said good news, good decrees for them to get married this year. So it's a very powerful experience, even for those of us who aren't looking to get married this year. And so we had my daughter and I had a very special thing that happened this year. And my daughter also, by the way, she just turned 20. She's not dating. She's definitely not in the older or even younger single looking for shidduch population. But still, we had a very moving experience at this event, and I wanted to share it with you. So my daughter and I at the beginning, we were standing by the Aron Kodesh davening, like the Torah Ark davening. I think that might be a Sephardi tradition. And we and then the woman who when we were done davening, then a woman who's the organizer. She turned to me. I don't know who she is, and she said maybe you have like some crackers in your purse, or crackers or cookies or something that the rabbis, when they come, the rabbis hadn't come yet, when the rabbis come, that they can say blessings, on certain foods. And so I said, I don't really have, but because I had some soy nuts, but I thought probably that wouldn't go over very well with the rabbis. So I suggested, I said, there's a grocery store across the way. Why don't I give my daughter some money and she'll go and she'll buy she'll buy the foods for the rabbis to bless. And I guess how it works is then they bless them and they give them out to the single women there. So she said, really, that's okay with you? I said, yeah, that I would be really happy to do it. So basically, this woman, the organizer, she wrote up a list for my daughter, and it was like to get peanuts and dates and cookies and crackers and grape juice and cups, and like serving plates, stuff like that, for the rabbis to say different blessings, so basically what happened was my daughter went, but she was looking for this, she was looking for all the different things, then she had to stand in line. It was a Purim, and also in Jerusalem, it's actually also was Erev Shabbat. It was Friday. Purim this year was on a Friday, which made it especially hectic. So the grocery store, there were lines in the grocery store. So it took my daughter a long time to come back. Took her maybe a half an hour, this errand. So what ended up happening is that the rabbis were speaking, and the rabbis came and the rabbis were speaking and giving kind of inspirational speeches, and the Kabbalistic rabbi was giving blessings like, may this year, may Hashem open up for you gates of happiness and gates of blessing and gates of health, and going on and on. And it was really very beautiful and very moving. And this whole time, I keep on checking to see if my daughter's coming in. She's not coming in. She's missing like the whole thing. So then my daughter finally came in, after the rabbis had already been like speaking for about 20 minutes. Um, and um, and so my daughter came in with the bags, and someone else helped her to organize the stuff onto plates, and then they gave the stuff to the rabbis, and the rabbis gave said blessings. So basically, what happened was the rabbis said blessings. But what happened was then the the two other rabbis left, and it was just Rav Shmuel Eliyahu and his mother, Harabbanit Eliyahu, the widow of Harav Mordechai Eliyahu. So they were sitting there and they were giving blessings to the single women that they should get married, and they were blessing and they were saying blessings on the foods that Hadass had bought and giving them out to the girls. And the very sweet thing was that said a lot of these girls, a lot of these women, they would take this stuff they were kind of packing up for the rest of their single friends, and so that they would say, okay, this is like this was the food that Rabbanit Eliyahu and that Rav Shmuel Eliyahu said blessings on, and that we should get married this year. And so basically, a lot of hope and a lot of blessing came through this food. And the amazing thing was that it was a very like eye-opening experience for me, and I think for my daughter, because really like my impression was, for the first 20 minutes my daughter's out there and I sent her on this errand, I was like, oh Chaval, she's missing the whole thing, and she's missing all the blessings, and she's missing everything going on, and she's missing the talk by this rabbi, and she's missing the talk by that rabbi, and she's missing everything because she went to get the food. But what actually happened was that my daughter came back and she had the food. Like what she did enabled all this blessing, all the blessings and all the good feeling and all like the encouragement that these single women got was from this food that Hadass had. On the one hand, she had I guess you could say lost out, but on the other hand, her losing out was what enabled all of these blessings to go to these single women who need so much encouragement. The young woman next to me must have been maybe in her mid-20s, and she was crying and crying and crying just how hard it is for these hard it is for these young women or older women and what they're going through. And they get so much chizuk, so much encouragement from this, and I just felt it was just such a deeply moving experience for me and for Adas that we were able to be a part of this kind of chizuk event for them. And it just spoke to me very deeply as a mother, because there's so many things as a mother, like so many times we miss out. It's like so many times, we can't go to shul, and we can't go to the wedding, and we can't go to this event, and we can't go to that event, and we can't go, we can't go to trip to chutzlar, and like, we can't go to trip abroad, and we can't do all these various things that someone who doesn't have kids could do much more easily, you know. But okay, because this kid was sick, or this one, I couldn't find a babysitter, or because I just got a bunch of kids, I don't want to. I have to do bedtimes, or I'm nursing, or I'm pregnant, I don't feel well, or I'm at the end of pregnancy, I don't have the energy, all the things like that. That a woman with kids, we end up being like that. It really, in a way, restricts us. We can really feel like, oh, I'm losing out, but so much of this of being kind of restricted, like with the restrictions, how much blessing the mother brings into the home, the mother brings into the world through the mother, through raising her children, through raising a Jewish family. We're not like missing out. Like we're doing what needs to be done. We're doing exactly God's will for us at that moment. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about another nice thing that happened this Purim. So basically, it was a nice thing that came out of not such a nice thing. So I told you that it was Purim that went into Shabbat. So basically, it was a lot of stress, and people were getting really irritated with one another. And there was like in my home, there was like a tension going on between various members of my family. So several times, what I did is I took time out from my family and the tensions going on, and I did something. I just started taking Dina Friedman's amazing Mastery 2 class. And she taught us this amazing tool, and I wanted to teach it to you. I think this is like life altering. Okay, basically she's talking about the ego state and the soul state. The ego state's about me and what I want and how I feel and what's going on, and the soul state's about like having like a big picture, having like a perspective of like you know, of a more holistic perspective of the world and of life and of what's really happening. So I took some time out and I would think to myself, so this is what you do, okay? Whenever you're in a situation where you feel constricted or you feel conflicted about something, you say these things. Write this down, okay? This is very important. First thing is you say, I don't know. Then you say, kind of directed towards the person or the situation itself, and the situation itself. You say, thank you, I love you, and then you shine your soul's light, the light of your soul, onto the situation. And Dina said, if you do this correctly, you do this, she said, eventually you will feel clarity. And it was amazing. I did this a few times on Purim. I kind of like took some time out of like the tension of like that like various people were feeling in my house. And I would just say, I don't know. Thank you. I love you. Directed at that person or those people and the situation. And I shined the light of my soul there, and it kind of got me out of like, so basically when I was in ego state, I was looking at the situation. I was like, why is everyone so stressed out? Why can't everyone just relax? Why does everyone have to be so overboard about the whole thing? And just like when I got into soul state, I just had so much more clarity about it. Like I just, by shining the light of my soul in it, I saw, okay, you know, these people, their soul needs this and my soul needs this, and that's okay. Or like I thought, or then at one point I thought, okay, people are stressed out and Purim is stressful. Purim is stressful. Like without the blame and without my ego involved, like why can't people be calmer? Why can't people chill out? Okay, people have their own needs. People have their own soul needs. So I recommend you to try it. I've been trying it. I tried it a bunch of times at Purim and other times this week, and I think it's really incredible, an incredible tool to get kind of a bigger, like a perspective, a big clarity, a better clarity on the challenging situations in our life. Okay, so in conclusion, I talked about the situation, this amazing story that my daughter and I had at the Beit Din L'Gzerot Tovot, the rabbinic court for good decrees, by Rabbi Shmuel Eliyahu and his mother, Rabbinit Eliyahu. And just how we sent my daughter to shopping, to buy food basically for the rabbi and for the rabbinit and for the other rabbis. And on the one hand, it's like it seemed like she lost out, but really she was it. She made the event by missing out. She enabled all of this blessings to come down and to give and all this encouragement to reach these single women who are having such a hard time. And it reminded me of motherhood, how often we have to miss things out, but how really we're doing exactly what God wants from us. We can feel like, oh, I'm missing out and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do this. But really how we are the ones, part of our missing out, like through our missing out, we're able to enable so much blessing to come into the world. And then I told you about this amazing tool from Dina Friedman, which I highly recommend trying out. Which basically, when you feel constricted or conflicted about something, you say this. You say, I don't know. You say, thank you, I love you, directed at the person and at the situation. And then you shine the light of your soul onto it until you have clarity. Okay, so I hope it works for you. So I want to bless you all with an amazing week.